Hello YouTube, and Overcrate 12 here. Just watched a video by SisterSunshine called Mothers Who Emasculate Their Sons. I'll put the link down into the bar. Now, the thing with SisterSunshine that I have a problem with is usually I agree with some of the things she says until she brings God into it. Then I'm like, you had me until you said hello. Now this is the first one that I did not agree with anything she said. ZJemptv did a very good take on this, which I will also put down in the bar, but I want to put my 2 cents in. There are many things in our history and present which don't follow today's norms and structured ideals. And within those things that don't follow our structure and our ideas comes a better understanding and then usually acceptance. And we end up following the norm, or we end up changing the norm, I should say, into something else, something that works better. Like, for example, slavery. Slavery was looked at for the longest time as being the acceptance, the norm. This is what happens. It's all good. Well, now it's not. It's because some people started doing something different than the norm, and it started to be accepted. So, within the norm, within your video of what you're talking about the norm, you're asking for this. And how about we look at it like this? Is it okay for girls to play with boy stuff? To do boy things? What about masculinating a little girl? Happens all the time. We even have a name for them. Tomboys. So why is it acceptable one way and not the other? Why is it okay for the gander and not for the goose? I'm going to get a little personal and tell you a little story here. My father was a very manly man. Farmer for most of his life. Ride, rope, drove any type of farm equipment. Any of that typical farmer rancher type thing. I was the same way. When I got old enough, I was allowed on horses. I took care of cattle, But it wasn't for the purpose to make me a man. Part of my other chores were also to do housework, to make supper and clean houses. Now, in my dad's age, which he's passed away and he's a lot old, like he was older, that was women's work. I don't think that way. And it's because of my dad that didn't go with the norm. But that was women work and should only be taught by women. To women, actually. Well, that was my dad's idea. To make me a more rounded person. To be able to take care of myself when I lived by myself. That was the whole premise of it. To teach me that it's not just woman's work. That it's not what a woman's supposed to do is stay at home, take care of the kids, barefoot and pregnant. It's retarded. And my dad, who, I look back on it, was miles ahead of situations that were happening then and now even. But when I was 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I played with dolls, but I also played with guns as well. I used to frequently, when I was younger, dress up like my mom. I put on her hats, her shoes, get into her makeup, and all that. And it was just to emulate, just to imitate what was around me. Because that's what children do. They imitate what is around them. And so, it was my dad that had no problem with that. And I remember exactly what he said to friends and family who came over and said something about it. Like, are you going to let your son do that? It's going to turn out gay. And he would say exactly this. He's learning by imitating, by becoming something else for a while. He make-believes, but doesn't mean that he'll be gay. And even if he is, he's still my son. It doesn't matter. Well, to make a long story short, I did not turn out to be gay. I am not a gay person. I am 100% heterosexual. But what I did when I was 5, how it influenced me was made me realize what exactly entails that, a better understanding of my opposite gender. So what I'm getting at is, at that age, children don't have a clue about what's homosexual and what's heterosexual. I mean, yes, we tell them that men have peepees, girls have vaginas, and such, but there will be no confusion when they are older. They will know exactly what they like and don't like, with an acceptance of the opposite. To let kids explore the world and every facet of that world, of who or what they are, will make them more tolerant and more accepting of differences. To blindly push your feelings of what is acceptable for a man and woman onto your children is where things start to go haywire for them. And they end up living in this little box. And they cannot think outside that box. We love our children unconditionally, or at least we should. And with unconditional love comes unconditional acceptance and understanding. And always remember, ignorance is bliss, but knowledge, that gives you freedom. Have a good day, Sister Sunshine. Peace.